What's up, you wrestling fanatics and friends? You're listening to the True Wrestling Podcast, episode 102. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I'm going to do a quick review of the big match between Penn State and Iowa. I'd like to thank my sponsor, Adidas Wrestling. You can check them out at adidaswrestling.com, on Twitter, at Adidas Wrestling. You can check me out on Twitter at TrueWrestler1. If you haven't caught any of my NCAA coaches surveys, you should check them out. Lots of interesting wrestlers and coaches getting votes by NCAA coaches. I do a quick bio on each guy. Without further delay, here's the breakdown. Hey fans, if you're a wrestling fan and you don't know that the big duel between Penn State and Iowa happened on Friday night, you must be living under a rock. Penn State came in the number one team in the country, defeated the number two team, 1913. And Penn State really, it's a battle of Penn State winning a lot of the matches late. 25 bonus points late, 33, 41, 74, and 97, all in the third period or sudden victory. And with no offense to John Smith, this duel features the best two teams over the last decade. Iowa has, the Brands brothers, but Tom Brands has steered them into their first championship. He won 3 immediately upon return from Virginia Tech, and they won one last year. Cale Sanderson has produced more NCAA champions while at Penn State than any other team. And going into the match, everybody thought this was going to be the super duel, even better than the Penn State Michigan match the week before. College wrestling is really at an apex right now. A couple things I want to talk off right off the bat. The definition of being carvered. To me, there are two things, right? When Iowa hosts a big match at Carver Hawkeye Arena, one, it can mean opponents are getting nervous in front of a big, loud crowd and they tighten up. And we've seen that a number of times. Obviously, for Penn State fans, maybe the biggest one was Mark Hall when he got his red shirt pulled, and then he loses to Alex Meyer. Mark Hall, blue chip recruit, 2-time second place, 1-time national champ. Alex Meyer was a 1-time All-American. And, clearly Hall got nervous, and who knows? He wasn't injured, he wasn't sick. It's just the emotions got to him. And there is a long line of wrestlers that have had that happen to them. The second meaning of carvered to me is when the ref gets nervous in front of a big, loud crowd and they kind of lose control of the match. Now, there were a number of very questionable calls that, it's a tough position to be the ref and make those questionable calls. However, I thought that the match got away from the referees. We saw on Friday night, Brady Berge match with the Bull. Was that was the ref responding to the crowd calling all those stall calls? Because you can clearly look that stalling was called very differently in the Brooks match or the heavyweight match, and some of the shoving that was going on out of bounds. If that happened in a middle school match or a high school match or a youth match, there would be consequences. Shoving somebody and repetitively out of bounds when you're clearly out of bounds after the whistle. Look, it's passion. I get it and I dig it. But on the other hand, that wasn't called very well. And then the other one is like the Jason Nolf move at 97. It didn't even look upon review that the referee understood that move. Jacob Warner was clearly out of control there on his back. They call it the Winn-Dixie. And it just didn't seem they understood that. And third-party review has been approved. I'm sure it's a money issue, as I've said many times before. But the NCAA and the Big Ten should know that this is like the biggest duel of the season and insisted that. Did the referees kind of regain control? I think so. Do I think the match was called very inconsistently? Yes. I didn't even talk about the possible Merkel move between Starocki and Kemmerer, and a referee's starting to second guess himself a little bit when there's no action and then points are awarded. So there was no real change in position for a few, maybe several seconds, and then all of a sudden 2-point takedown for Kemmerer, and then upon his own review he overturns himself. If you want to listen to the rest of this recap, click the link in the description below. Peace.